What's going on YouTube? Today is another exciting video. I'm going to be working with the thickest HTV out there, and it is none other than the Siser Brick 600. That's right, I'm going to be working with the Brick 600, and I placed this on my laptop sleeve and it came out very good. I'm going to be working from scratch, showing you my design, the whole process in Silhouette Design Studio Business Edition, so you don't want to miss this process. Stay tuned. I'm going to be working with Brick HTV, and it's my first time working with it, so I'm pretty excited to do this. So let's first work on the design that we're going to be cutting out of my Brick HTV. Alright, so we have Silhouette Design Studio here, Business Edition, blank screen. We're going to go over to page setup. We want to make that image, or we want to make that design a little larger than 12 by 12 cutting mat, so I'm going to go here and increase my cutting mat to 12 by 24. Alright, you have that, but I want to change the orientation because I want to be working in my landscape mode. I'm going to click on here, right underneath, or right next to orientation. I'm going to click on landscape, and we have exactly what we need. So now let's go ahead and grab a text tool right here on the left toolbar. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click anywhere here, and I'm going to type in fragile in all caps. And I'm going to click on the bottom here. I'm going to click my text tool again, click anywhere here, and I'm going to turn my caps lock off, and I'm going to say handle with, no space, handle with care, no spaces in between. I'm going to click outside. Now I'm going to grab both my images, and I'm going to go to my color fill panel here, and I'm going to go with a gray. Okay, right next to the color fill, I'm going to turn my stroke off so I don't have that border around it. Okay, I'm going to go here, I'm going to take this and I'm going to bring it down, and let's work on fragile. So I need to change this text to something really bold. Okay, today I'm not going to use impact. I usually use impact. I'm going to try something different. So let's go here, where you hear on the right toolbar where it says open the text style panel, and that's what we're going to be doing, clicking on the text style panel, open that up. Today we're going to be working with something called Amoeba, which is a font. All right, looking good. I'm going to drag this, open it up, and I'm going to also give this exact dimensions. Now before I do that, I want to make sure that everything here is good, and this is exactly what I want. I'm going to turn this to a red color, that way it's visible. Click on this red, and I'm going to click on my fill or my stroke and turn that off. So in order for me to get this at exact dimensions, I need to make sure that my box right here, which is what it's measuring, is the same size as this word. Okay, and the way to do that is I right click on it and ungroup. Okay, and as you can see, once you ungroup it, it now ceases from being a text and now it's converted to an image or an object. So I'm going to right click it again, and I'm going to group it. Now I have the exact dimensions. I'm going to, while this is highlighted, unlock my proportions key or aspect ratio key, and I'm going to give it exact dimensions of 11 by 5 and hit enter. Okay, we're good over here. I'm going to leave that. Now let's deal with handle with care. Okay, well, I have this selected, and pick on my Golden Hills font. Okay, that's already looking great. Let's increase that in size. Alright, I want to change two things, or actually one letter here, and that's my E. I don't want this basic E. I need a glyph or something additional, so I'm going to click on my handle with care so it selects it, and then my next tab over is my glyphs. Alright, I know that my Golden Hills is still selected, so I need to change my E. So once I have my E highlighted, I'm going to delete that E and then look for a different kind of E, and we're going to go with this E here. Alright, let's go ahead and click on this E as well and delete it, and go with the same E that we went with for the care. Okay, that's looking good. Now that we're fine with this, now it's time to convert this from a text. Okay, we want to convert it from a text to an object, and we also want to give it exact dimensions. Alright, so I'm going to right click on my image. I'm going to go ahead to ungroup. I graze this out, and I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to go to group. Let's go ahead and change this to a black color, and let us remove that stroke right there. Okay, now I want to give this exact dimensions, and let's give it a dimension. While this is unlocked, my aspect ratio, I'm going to give it a width of 12.450 by 1.161 and hit enter, and that looks good. So what I'm going to do with this image is I'm going to go here. Actually, let's make this a little bigger. That's not exact. I want to make that a 13 by 5, sorry. 13 in width, and hit enter. That way it's long enough to fit this. So I'm going to leave this right here, and I'm going to take this handle with care, and I want to do an offset to where it cuts out and it sits right here. So if I sit it like this way, that's hard to read, and it's, you know, it doesn't look as fancy. I mean, you know, some people might choose to go like that, but that's good. You know, I want to do something a little more drastic than that. So I'm going to highlight everything and make sure it's centered. My alignment, make sure they're evenly centered. Okay, that's aligned center, and we're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and select just my handle with care. Then I need to make an offset, and that offset is what I'm going to cut out or do a knockout of my fragile. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to make a gap between the fragile and the handle with care, such that I can lay this down and then lay this in the actual pockets to where it still touches the t-shirt and it's not sitting on top of this. Now that I have my handle with care selected, I'm going to go to my right toolbar. There is an offset panel here. I'm going to click on my offset panel, and I want an external offset, so I'm going to click my external, and I want a distance of in my offset of 0.100, and that's what's here, and I like that. I'm going to go ahead and click on apply. Once you apply your offset, you want to make sure that your offset is actually grouped. So while my offset is still selected, I'm going to go my object, and I'm going to click on group. Okay, that groups my object and treats it as one unit. Now I'm going to turn my fill for my offset while it's still selected to white. Okay, and I'm going to turn my line stroke off. Now while my offset is still selected, I'm going to hold down my shift key and click on my fragile. Then I'm going to go to my modify panel, which is a rectangle intersecting a circle, and I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to hover over, and I'm going to go, I'm going to scroll up to here and click on subtract all. Okay, while my offset is still selected, I'm going to drag my offset right out of here. Okay, and I don't need that because I use that for the cutout, and I'm going to hit delete. And as you can see, that is going to lay right on my image, on my substrate, whether it be a t-shirt, or in this case it's going to be my computer or my laptop sleeve, and then this is going to be its separate brick vinyl that's going to sit right in between this image right here. Okay, and go ahead and center that. Okay, now I want to select each image. I'm going to start off with my fragile. I'm going to right click it, and I'm going to make a compound path. When you do that, the color disappears. Don't know why, but that's what happens. I'm going to bring that color back by going to my color fill panel and clicking back on my red, and I'm going to turn my stroke off. Now that's already converted. Now I'm going to go to my handle with care, and I'm going to make also a compound path. I like to work with shortcuts on my key. So when I go with Command E, that makes it a compound path. And as you can tell, it is, because there's no option to make it a compound path. There's an option to release a compound path. So you can do Control E or Command E for you Mac users, or you can just right click and go to compound path, or you can go, while it's highlighted, click on your object, right, and then go to make compound path here. As you can see, the shortcut is Command E. Okay, now that we have that ready to go, we're going to highlight the whole document, or both images. We're going to right click, and we're going to group, or Command G. Now that you have it grouped, now it's one individual design. Now that I have my one individual design, make sure my image is good, 13 by 5, and I am good to go. So now that everything is grouped, it looks good. What we want to do is, first I want to go ahead and save my document. So I'm going to go to Save As, hard drive. I'm going to save this hot document. Fragile, handle with care, Brick HTV. That's good. I'm going to save it as format Silhouette Studio V3. Alright, I'm going to hit OK. And that's going to save it. Now I need to export this as an SVG. Okay, because I'm going to take it over the Cricut Design Space and I'm going to make it cuttable. Okay, so now that everything is grouped, and you know it's grouped because once you select it, you can move it as one unit. Alright, so I still have that selection. I'm going to go to File while I have it selected. And I am going to go to Save Selection, Save to Hard Drive. I'm going to save it on my Downloads folder. So let's just go to Downloads right here. And I am going to save it as an SVG. And then I'm going to hit OK. Let us go over to our Cricut Design Space. So now that we're in Cricut Design Space, the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and hit Upload. And then Upload Image. And let's browse. And here it is, SVG, Fragile, handle with care. We want to click on Open. And here it is. You want to go to the bottom right hand corner and click on Upload. Here's the tile. You click on the tile and click Add to Canvas on the bottom right hand corner. And here it is. I want to make sure our measurements are correct, and it is indeed 13 width by 5 height. Alright. And if you look at our layers panel right here, you can see that it's divided into 2 separate layers and it's grouped under the whole image. Okay, so if I turn this off, you'll see that's the handle with care part, and this is the fragile part. Alright, so we're just pretty simple. I'm ready to make it. I want to go ahead to the top right hand corner and click Make It, Confirm. Okay, and now we wanted a longer image since the sleeve is it's a little longer than what you would put on a t-shirt. I wanted a little wider design. Alright, so this is good. We want to go ahead and mirror that, and that's our black print, handle with care. And let's go over to our second mat, and that's the fragile. We want to go ahead and mirror that as well. And let's move this down just a tad bit, leave it right there. Okay, we're going to cut 14 by 6, and let's go back to black and move it down just a tad bit. Let's give it some room. And in this case, we will be going with 13 inch by 2. Alright, now we are ready to go. We want to hit on the Continue button on the bottom right hand corner. It's going to do its magic and connect via Bluetooth to my Cricut Explore 3. There you have it. We are cutting brick, and since I haven't done brick before, let's browse all materials to see if there's any brick material. Okay, let's go ahead and type in brick. No results found. Alright, so here is what I am going to do. I am going to pick my glitter setting, okay, premium frosted glitter. Let me go ahead and browse all materials, and I want to go down to material settings just to see what pressure we're looking at for our premium. Our premium vinyl frosted glitter is 148 pressure, which is good. I'm going to leave as is, not changing anything, and I'll click outside, and we're going to go ahead and pick that premium vinyl frosted glitter and see how that cuts. Okay, leave my pressure defaults, and we are good to go. Here is my brick Siser HTV. I've got red, black, and white in here. Ordered off Amazon. I'll put the link in the description at the bottom of the video. And yes, it is brown, it's neoprene. And let's go ahead and make the cut with the brick, and we'll go from there. All right guys, just to save time, here's what I did. I just put my red cut on one side and my black cut on the other. So I took, instead of 2 separate mats, I took the black image and I moved that object in my Cricut Design Space to the red mat, okay? And that disappeared. So I'm tricking my Cricut cutter into believing that it's cutting an image of the same color. And all I have to do is just lay out the dimension of the image for my red on one side and for my black on the other. Okay, and I did the same thing on my screen. So it's arranged exactly how it is. So as you can see, it thinks it's cutting 2 red HTVs, whereas it's cutting on one side this width and then the other side this side. Okay, so I have this measures. And also correction, I have this set for, let's say we're done here. Okay, I have this set for light cardstock because based on my research, the glitter setting that I had initially is not strong, is not good enough, doesn't have enough downforce. So light cardstock has more downforce. It's 176 GSM, and just leave the pressure at default, and that should make the cut since it's a thicker than normal vinyl. All right, so let's go. Now I made a mistake initially. I did not do a test cut. Now don't do this at home. Make sure when you're using new vinyl that you don't have the settings to in Cricut or any other cutting software. Make sure you do a little test cut. You can cut a little heart, very tiny circle, try to gauge your pressure. The first one I did, I put it at light cardstock because that was a suggestion on one of the other videos I watched, and that did not work for me. So you just have to remember that some of these are suggestions and your machine may be different. It just didn't work for me, so I did my own setting. I went to glitter iron-on, and I realized that glitter iron-on is one of the settings that one of the ladies used in her video to cut her Brick 600. And of course this is Brick 600 because it's 600 microns thick. It's thicker than your average HTV. All right, I don't know if you can tell, but that's really thick. Just to give you a comparison, regular glitter is about 325 microns thick, and your regular Siser Easy Weed, regular HTV, no specialty, is about, I think, 90 microns. So this is about 6, 7, 8 times thicker than your average HTV. So I went ahead and made a custom setting in my Cricut Design Space for a 170 pressure, one pass. Let's see if I can have this handle hanging out here. At our set temperature of 312. Okay, that was 10, 11 seconds. All right. Take that out. It's a cool peel, guys. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna apply more heat to this eventually when I lay my second layer. All right. It should sit right in place. And I'm gonna put some heat tape so it doesn't move because my carrier sheet is not sticky, so let's go ahead and heat that. Did that for the whole 15 seconds. Just take that out. Cool peel. All right. Let's peel. Guys, this is what my MacBook Pro laptop sleeve looks like. Okay, so it's fragile. So you can just raise. This looks like you can pick it up. It's got a very matted feel to it. Feels like pleather. Okay, like, comment, and subscribe, guys.